Hello there, Ray here, and we have a brand new 1.16 snapshot. This is 20W10A. With it comes with some new blocks, new sounds in the nether, and we get some changes to the almighty hoe. And the smithing table finally gets a use in this version. And don't forget guys, after this video, we will be doing our snapshot testing with the viewers, where we open up a server just like this one, and we all hop on and test out the new things and see what kind of cool things we can design. And you guys can catch my stream, which will be linked below, for all the details on how you can take part. So I'll see you guys there after this video. Now let's get into all the changes with the newest snapshot. They have finally given the smithing table a use in the game, and you can craft up a smithing table by having 4 planks as well as 2 iron ingots. That'll produce 1 smithing table. Now we can go ahead and right click in it, and you see we have a couple of slots with the words upgrade here, and there's a plus sign, and this is the output over here. And we can now use this to upgrade your diamond gear into netherite gear. So let's grab a couple of different variations. So we got armor, a weapon, as well as a tool. Now to upgrade them, you will need to get yourself netherite ingots, which can be obtained by finding ancient debris, then melting it down into scraps and combining those with gold in order to get the ingots. Let's go ahead, we'll shift click that in, and can we also shift click this? Yes, we can. So that will allow us to convert a diamond chestplate into a netherite chestplate. It took 1 ingot away from us. We can do the same thing with a sword, as well as a pickaxe. Each of them took 1 ingot. Can we shift click anything else in here? Oh, so pretty much anything can go in there. Okay, probably this slot as well. Looks like it. So can we still do this with the anvil? We'll put that in as well as the scraps, and no longer works with the anvil. And it seems not to work with the crafting table either. So you're kind of pushed to use the new smithing table to upgrade your armor, which isn't too bad. It's just 2 iron ingots. Let's see if we can push or pull this, because it's a block that contains information. So you can push and pull that, very similar to like a crafting table. You can put stuff into it, but as soon as you leave the GUI, the item is put back into your inventory. And it seems the correct tool to use on a smithing table is an axe, very similar to a crafting table. So I guess it's nice because you don't have to use durability of an anvil up. They also came out with more variations of the warped and crimson fungi stems. So before we had just the strip variations of them, we also got the completely smooth variations. So we got this one as well as this one. And we now have the entire barked variations. So these have bark on all sides. They're called crimson hypha. This is warped hypha. So let's see how they compare. So these are the smooth ones on all sides, where these have the kind of stump-like design in the center. And then we got the completely barked variations. So here is the crimson variation as well as the warped one. They look really nice. And there's that animation to kind of go with them. You can see they're animated to change colors. Very cool. So the way you get these is by crafting. So you'd want to get your stems and then strip them, then break them down into blocks, then put the blocks into here. If you got 4 of them like that, you will produce 3 of these. And you can do the same thing with stems. If you chop down some stems and do 4 stems, you can get 3 of the warp hyphas. Very similar to like the wood or log variations. They also added new ambient sounds into the nether dimensions. You can hear them every once in a while. They said they're going to add kind of a new flavor into the nether biome. The next change that they did has to do with hoes, and actually makes them more useful as a tool altogether. First off, they changed it so you can now add the efficiency enchantment. So we go ahead and enchant this and efficiency. So you can put efficiency 5 on it, and you see it now works. Before you can only put mending as well as unbreaking on it. So now it's like official tool, you can use it. This is something I requested in my last video. So it's great to see that they have added that. You also can enchant them with Silk Touch, just like you would do like a pickaxe, or fortune. Now you can't apply fortune and silk touch to the same one. So if you just go to a different one, you put fortune on this one here. And you can also get these enchantments onto the hoe just by using them on an enchanting table. So here you can see I got a stone hoe, and there is a chance of getting efficiency on it. They also have it so the higher the tier, the faster it'll work on blocks that they can be used on. Let's go ahead and go into survival. And then we'll try to break some of these, which are the different types of warp blocks. So here's a one with fortune. It breaks it just fine, but you don't get like more out of these. Here's one with silk touch. Silk touch really doesn't apply to these type of blocks. You can see we can actually instant mine it, which is really cool, meaning that as soon as you point to it, it can be removed. You can just tear down all these warp blocks. Now for the most part, the only real uses for the hoes are like breaking down those warp type blocks as well as hoeing the ground. Let's see if we can use this to break any other blocks. It really don't seem like it's good with anything else. But maybe in the future they'll add more blocks that this can be used on. They changed the way that projectiles are kept track of when it comes to which player throws them. So whenever you throw a projectile, it remembers the UUID of the player, which is essentially it's a specific name that the game gives the players. Now the UUIDs will be stored as an array of 4 integers, and they will use this for all future formats. Hopefully this makes it possible so that when you throw like snowballs through portals, it will remember who actually threw the snowball. Because in the past, you can actually like shoot arrows through another portal and kill some on the other side, even when PvP was turned off, because the arrows weren't remembering who actually shot the arrow out. That's probably something we'll be testing in today's snapshot stream, so you guys can take part in that. They also add some new tags, such as invisibility for item frames. That way you can remove the item frame and just have the item inside of it. And they also added a fixed tag, meaning that the item frame cannot be broken and the item inside of it cannot be removed. This is great for like map makers. They also added some triggers for target hit advancement. So they added something called signal strength, which matches the signal strength output from the block on hit. They also added projectile matches, so it has to match a specific projectile entity. And they also added shooter, which matches a player who shot or threw the projectile. And this is all things that they can use for map makers, so you can do more with like projectiles. They changed the way that fish will despawn. Now if they are farther than 64 blocks away from the closest player, they will despawn. This has to do with fish overall just building up excessively in people's worlds, and often creating a lot of entities and lag. And the pathfinding of sea creatures overall has been pretty tough in the past, but they have fixed it. Notice how a lot of the sea creatures no longer will move unless you get so close to them. They kind of stay put. The fish will do the same thing. And normally fish would have to be over 128 meters away from the player in order to despawn. So they pretty much cut the distance in half. I think that's okay for most people. It might have to affect the way we kind of farm up fish in the future, as I've designed a couple different fish mob farms which take advantage of the player like AFKing really high and having them spawn in really low. So rates might be a little bit slower because we have to essentially move the fish closer to the player, meaning that the higher they're up in the world, the slower the mobs will spawn. You can see some fish right here. And yeah, once you get so close to them, then they will start moving around. If you go kind of far away from them, they'll just stop. They also fix a problem to do with dolphins moving very fast when near a boat. Now, dolphins overall would try to chase after boats, but sometimes they move excessively fast. They also changed it so that dolphins that are angry, meaning that if you hit a dolphin, they'll no longer give you dolphin's grace. Kind of makes sense. There's also the thing where dolphins were chasing after boats even when there was no players in the boat. So they now have it so that only players will make them chase after it. They fixed the corners of the quartz stairs. They weren't having borders properly. They also fixed the way that some of the villagers' houses spawned in. Some of them weren't quite aligned properly. They fixed some transparent pixels on the new netherite sword as well as netherite boots. They also changed it so when you drop stuff like netherite, which doesn't burn up in lava, it'll no longer be on flames when you throw it in. So in the past, it would still show up like fire around it. And the developers are asking on Twitter if this was something you guys want to change. So it looks like they went ahead and changed it. So now it doesn't appear like it's on fire. And some people made the remark that when players are immune to fire, they're still showed with fire around them. So maybe they'll change that eventually too. There seems to be a weird outline on the fire. See that little line there? I've never seen that before. It doesn't make it like walk up or anything. I guess that's where you have to break the fire. You can't break the top of it anymore. You have to click down here to break it. I don't know if that might be a bug. Looks pretty strange. It's like a block, and then when you break it, it produces fire particles. It should make sense. You could click anywhere above it. Like here, I'm destroying everything behind it before I even destroyed the fire. They also fixed it so that soul sand valleys, when they produce fossils, they won't generate in midair. There were some problems to do with the texturings of some of the new items like warped fungi and crimson root that they have now fixed the textures on. Now piglins, when they're overall, they're going to shake, but now they made it so if a piglin has the no AI tag, they will no longer shake and convert. They also changed it now so that wither skeletons will automatically attack piglins. So instead of the piglins just going after the wither skeletons attacking them, now the wither skeletons will actively attack back. Now we can use this to lure wither skeletons and kind of separate them from other mobs, which is going to be cool to make a wither skeleton farm using that. They also changed it so now if you hurt a little piglin, they will get actually aggro the adults and they'll come attack you. They fixed a problem to do with the piglins when they were converting. If you leave the chunk and come back, they would try to reset that number for when they should actually convert. So now it will keep counting down every time the chunk is reloaded. The server was receiving logs that player was getting incorrect vehicle movement packets. This log wasn't useful. Now the piglin bartering looting tables were a little bit wrong, and this is something we mentioned in the last video. Essentially, at the very end of the list of the different barters, there was a function that essentially made every single amount that was produced from the pigling to be exactly the same, which was a mistake. They also took this opportunity to redo some of the pigling bartering, so the trades are a little bit different. So they still give you netherite hoe, fire resistant potions, as well as this blast potion from fire resistance. They now also give iron nuggets, which you can turn into iron ingots as well as iron blocks. Quartz is still there, glowstone dust, magma cream, ender pearls, string, fire charge, gravel, leather, nether brick item, obsidian, grind obsidian, and they brought back the soul sand, which is something I requested via Twitter. And they're still looking for inputs, so if there's something that you see missing, they think a piglin should barter for, let them know. Now they said they changed it so that piglins are going to be attracted to golden rails, which are kind of known as par rails, but it seems like that hasn't been implemented. They also changed that little trick that I showed where if you powered a target block by throwing an arrow into it and also powers a piston which moves it, it would keep it permanently powered. So now they change it so it will depower once it's moved. I thought it was kind of useful because you could essentially make a block that would keep its power and have very specific power sources like 1 through 16 just with a single block. This means we'll probably also have to change our fly machines, which we had. The fly machine would only fly if there was an arrow inside of the target block. They also fixed the problem that we were having during our snapshot stream, which was opting people on the server. Essentially, you would get this message that said unexpected error occurred trying to execute that command, and the opt would only work if the player would relog. So hopefully we'll have better luck at doing that during our snapshot stream. So it's cool to finally see that the smithing table gets a use. We're still waiting for the fletching table to get a use. It doesn't have anything so far, and you can't like right click into it. So maybe that'll come out in the next snapshot, or at least in this nether update. Fletch table definitely can be used to do like different types of rockets since they're kind of like projectiles. And there's a wide variety of rockets. A lot of people don't understand the different components needed to make special rockets, similar to what we've seen with like banners and the loom. I'm really glad that they brought back like the soul sand from the piglins. So we can make like stuff like my beacon in the box, which is automatic way to get beacons. And we can also get soul sand out automatically. So maybe I should make a beacon in the box number 2. And of course, having wither skeletons go after these guys will be interesting to make wither skeleton farms using that. And remember guys, we are going to be doing our snapshot testing stream shortly after this video goes public. So make sure you guys hop onto our testing server. The information will be at my Twitch channel, which I'll link down below. You guys can hop on as we design new things using these changes. So I'll see you guys very shortly. And remember to go ahead and like the video as well as share with other Minecrafters so they can learn about the new changes coming out with 1.16. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.